Last Sunday in Seattle, the Atlanta Falcons found out what happens when the NFC's last-ranked offense meets the NFC's last-ranked defense. The Seahawks' inexperienced defense raked in 6 Falcon turnovers and kept Atlanta's faltering offense so off guard that the only Falcon touchdown was set up by a blocked punt. A forward lateral forced the Falcons to wait a little longer for their lone touchdown. But when the Seahawks had the ball, Jim Zorn wasted no time in legally moving it forward. Number 81, tight end John McMakin, caught one touchdown pass from Jim Zorn, and another one zipped from Zorn to rookie running back Sherman Smith, number 47. Sherman Smith is 6'4", 217 pounds, and was a quarterback at Miami of Ohio. Last week he made some history as he became Seattle's first ever 100-yard rusher. And so the Seattle Seahawks won their second game, and their first over one of the so-called established NFL teams. And they did it convincingly. Meanwhile, in Denver, the other expansion team did not fare so well. Tampa Bay was ahead in the third quarter, but the Broncos, led by Otis Armstrong and quarterback Steve Ramsey, scored 38 straight points to put the game far out of reach of the woebegone Buccaneers. Denver's defense came up with 3 touchdowns of their own, more than enough to win the game for the Broncos. As has become almost routine in Denver victories, the special teams were indeed special, especially punt returner Rick Upchurch, number 80. Rick Upchurch knew he had his record-setting 5th punt return touchdown of the season, but a clipping call canceled the score. It was just about the only thing that went wrong for the Broncos as they won big, 48-13. In Milwaukee, the Packers faced the New Orleans Saints in a seesaw game which remained close throughout. Eric Torkelson gave Green Bay an early lead, but when quarterback Lynn Dickey went for more, he was hit as he threw, and the resulting duck fell into the waiting hands of linebacker Jim Merlo, number 57, who trundled in for his 2nd touchdown of the season. Just before the half, Lynn Dickey and the Packers took the lead once more, but not without a little help from New Orleans secondary. Rich McGeorge was the hero of the moment for Green Bay. But for every hero, there are always those members of the opposition whose thoughts are not concerned with glory. On the second play of the second half, a Bobby Douglas scramble ended with the Packers catching another break as the Green Bay lead increased to 10 points. Bobby Douglas has been called many things, but never a quitter. And in the third quarter, he led the Saints on 2 successful touchdown drives. New Orleans led 27-23 until late in the fourth quarter, when number 40, Willard Harrell, made the difference for Green Bay. Willard Harrell helped the Packers to their 4th victory and the struggling Saints to their 4th consecutive loss, 32-27. Mired in a deep rut of adverse publicity over his salary, the Bills' O.J. Simpson decided to dig himself out by trading punches with number 72, Mel Lunsford, the heavyweight defensive end of the New England Patriots, an indiscretion that got number 32 thrown out of the game. While some say that it's O.J.'s money belt that bogs down Buffalo, others point to a defense that they say needs an exorcist to disgorge the devil from it. However, it would have taken a higher authority to deny the heavenly receptions made by Randy Vataha, number 18, and Darryl Stingley, number 84. Only Patriot mistakes kept this game from being a rout. Twice, penalties canceled touchdowns, including this tour de force by tight end Russ Francis, number 81. New England had plenty in reserve. They got 145 yards rushing by Sam Cunningham and an 89-yard burn down the sidelines by rookie cornerback and punt returner Mike Haynes, number 40. While the Patriots won in a breeze 20-10 and remained 2 giant steps behind the Colts in the AFC East, the earth-shaking, ground-quaking Steelers bellowed and boomed and walked all over the Chiefs. The Steelers registered their 3rd straight shutout and have not allowed a touchdown for 16 consecutive quarters. Even their unassuming Clark Kent mild-mannered reporter offense looked super by rushing for 330 yards and scoring 45 points. Pittsburgh possesses quality depth throughout their roster. They have a motherlode rich in receivers, including rookie Ernest Pugh, number 85. There are backs like Harris, Blair, Fuqua, and nifty spare parts like Jack Delaplane, number 35, who scored 2 touchdowns. All in all, the world champions, after a horrid start, are as awesome as ever. Make room for them in Pasadena. They made believers out of the Chiefs, who were shut out for the first time in 179 games. In sunny San Diego, even a funky disco rain dance failed to keep the Chargers from being drowned by the Baltimore Colts. All-purpose back Lydell Mitchell, number 26, amassed over 200 yards running and receiving and made everything look easy. A coach once said that he liked to see the ball in the air a lot because it was easier to follow. With Burt Jones' velocity, it ain't necessarily so. To combat the Jones to number 81 Roger Carr connection, the Chargers concocted a scheme of blitzes to disrupt the young quarterback's rhythm. This rush looked like it worked, didn't it? Wrong. Not only was a personal foul called, but Jones' quick release, even in retreat, resulted in a 2nd touchdown by Carr. Jones so demoralized the Chargers that when he left, all that faced reserve quarterback Bill Troop was a team of phantoms and an empty end zone. The Colts have grown stronger with each passing week, and they are not about to relinquish their stranglehold on the AFC East. While they are cresting, Tommy Prothro's Chargers are decomposing. Once 3-0, they are now 4-5 and fading fast. They need a catalyst, maybe someone like Clint One-Punch Longley, whose 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes salvaged some credibility for San Diego. The Chargers are now respectable, not awful. That is nice, but still a far cry from contention in the West. Colts 37, Chargers 21. Dreams, once so real with the season's beginning, sometimes lose reality amid the crunch of a November afternoon. And so it was for many last Sunday, as hopes tumbled, then turned into confusion, while vainly each scurried to claim a prize which would elude them. That which separates a winner from a loser very often can be the mere bounce of a ball. A seemingly simple thing, really, yet a maddening task for squads still trying to learn the ways of victory. Failure to grasp the ball yields defeat, and is a fact well known by the New York Jets, whose failure to secure possession has helped to bury them in the rubble of a losing year. Fumbled snaps and dropped passes forfeit first downs, and occur so often they seem to be written into the Jets' game plan. However, against the Miami Dolphins last Sunday in Shea Stadium, the Jets were not the only ones guilty of muffed opportunities. The Dolphin defense, too, showed a knack for producing a blooper, but fortunately, their offense was displaying nearly perfect execution, and it was this which carried them to a 27-7 win. Earlier considered a sort of Cinderella story, the Chicago Bears have recently seen their glass slippers squeezed, then shattered by a host of contending teams, and by a football that seems always bent on bouncing in favor of their opposition. Last Sunday, it was the Oakland Raiders who benefited from the Bears' misfortunes, the most prominent of which came when an apparent Chicago touchdown by number 71, Roger Stillwell, was canceled by an errant official's whistle. But where the Bears suffered from bad luck on defense, they enjoyed some good on offense, rolling in to claim 4 touchdowns, 3 coming on the legs of number 34, Walter Payton. While the Bears, for the most part, steadily ground out drives to consummate scores, the Raiders' Kenny Stabler elected to put Oakland on the board with long strikes to speedster Cliff Branch. The result netted one 75-yarder and another one covering 40 yards, the latter being another classic example of how a bounce of a football can beat a team. Cliff Branch's masterful catch placed Oakland in the lead 28-27, and it seemed as though fate had dealt the staggered Bears its cruelest blow. Yet in the game's final seconds, and with victory still attainable on a 31-yard Bob Thomas field goal, fortune teased Chicago one final time. Thomas's kick hit the upright and bounced away, saddling Chicago with a 28-27 disappointment. To the winners go the breaks, while the losers are left to wonder why. The Chicago Bears, like many other teams throughout the NFL, have seen the fruits of a promising season soured by misfortune. Still, all must continue to try in order to realize the ultimate goal, victory. Northern Minnesota knows only two seasons, July and winter. And with running back Chuck Foreman enjoying a remarkable season, this winter promises yet another divisional title for the Vikings. Indeed, Bud Grant's Norsemen seem in rare playoff form, and only an occasional mental lapse reminds opponents that Minnesota can make mistakes. Last week against Detroit, rookie Sammy White did an un-Viking-like thing, neglecting to carry the ball all the way into the end zone. But the Vikings played well enough to allow White a chance to redeem himself. And given another chance, his execution was flawless. Fran Tarkenton and the Vikings shredded Detroit's conference-leading defense for 430 yards, as Francis twice connected with Sammy White for touchdowns. The final one bringing his lifetime touchdown pass total to 299. His next scoring toss will make him the only quarterback in history to reach 300. With a comfortable 3.5 game lead in the NFC Central, there's reason to celebrate in the land of ice. A celebration likewise took place in San Francisco, where 49ers fans were treated to a virtuoso performance by an emerging star. Against the Redskins, third-year pro Delvin Williams enjoyed his finest hour in the NFL, accounting for 279 total yards and 18 points as a runner and pass receiver. An incredible offensive performance. With 762 rushing yards to his credit, Williams is well within the reach of a 1,000-yard season, a feat well worth calling home about. But while Williams rested between exhibitions, another third-year NFLer, Redskin quarterback Joe Theismann, seemed intent on wrestling away the spotlight. Theismann likewise enjoyed one of his best days ever, hitting on 20 of 32 pass attempts, including 3 touchdown tosses to tight end Gene Fugit. But neither Theismann's air attack nor Williams' ground thrusts could resolve the matter. So late in period 4, Theismann held while Mark Mosley tipped the scale toward the Skins. Washington's upset kept their slender playoff hopes alive, while the slumping 49ers suffered their second consecutive narrow defeat. The headlines aren't good for San Francisco. In Philadelphia, the headlines announced a return grudge match. But in a game dominated by hard hitting, a calculated risk produced the game's first points. On third down and short yardage, Mike Barilla and Charlie Smith caught the Cardinals napping. But this contest would be decided in the pit. Bill Bergey and the improved Eagle defense against Jim Otis and that nasty Cardinal offensive line. Bergey and the Eagles won the early rounds, but Otis and the Cardinal front just never stopped coming. And as the final stanza began to unfold, clearly St. Louis had gained the upper hand. Otis finished with 115 yards, and his fourth quarter bursts made possible a Jim Bakken field goal and a 3-point Cardinal advantage. Then, the Eagles made that one fatal mistake. Dave Hampton's unfortunate fumble cost the Eagles a chance to tie and go into overtime. In a contest as balanced as this one, and over the course of a season for that matter, a handful of crucial mistakes often separate the winners from the also-rans. Jim Otis and the Cardinals deserved to win, but somehow Bill Bergey's Eagles did not deserve to lose.